The sad reality is, as a business owner, only 3% of the market is in the market to actually go and buy your product or service. So if your entire lead gen strategy is revolved around those 3% of people, then your growth is going to be capped and your cost per lead is going to be through the roof. So how do we actually capture the other 97% of the market and turn those people into qualified leads? Well, the best way to actually go and do that is to create lead magnets for your business and turn people into qualified leads, which then turns into revenue. So with that being said, I'm going to be explaining to you why and how you could be using lead magnets for your business today. Let's get into it. So no matter what market you're in, no matter what industry you're in, only 3% of the market are ready to buy right now. So the real question is, how do we actually go and target all the other people in your market? So not just that 3%, not just the 3 out of 100, how do we actually start to capture all these other leads and move them from not knowing you into a qualified lead? So let's say 100 people do land on your site, and out of those 100, only 3% of the people actually know that they already have a problem. So they're problem aware, they want to solve it right now. And the real issue here is every single other business owner in your market is fighting over these people. Everyone wants to deal with these people because these people make decisions fast. They know they want it now, and they can be turned into a sale pretty much straight away compared to all the other people who are in different stages of the funnel. So what we're going to be walking through is how to actually go and capture all these other leads, but just to tie this back into like what people do here. So in terms of paid ads, this would be explained by like a book a call funnel. So for example, you might run a paid ad and then you basically say to people, book a call with one of our sales team and then we'll explain X, Y, and Z. And then that's when they have the sales call. So the real issue with that is the cost per lead is high because everyone else is fighting over them. And because there's only 3 out of 100 of those people. So what we want to do and what I do for my clients and what I teach people to do is actually provide free value and then you sell afterwards. So you're going to get a lower cost per lead and you're going to have a larger audience size to actually go and reach out to. So instead of just reaching out to these 3 people, then you're actually going to be targeting all the other 97% of your market. And we do this by actually creating lead magnets. So you give stuff away for free. So the real question is, how do we actually capture these leads and why do we actually go and capture these leads? So essentially, the only way to go and capture someone's to go and turn them into a lead is to actually go and capture someone's information. So all you're doing is you're creating an asset, which is a lead magnet, and you're trading this lead magnet for someone's contact information. So even those people who are not in buy mode right now, you're going to turn them from not knowing who you are into someone who is a qualified lead. So you're going to be moving them to different stages of the funnel. So what you would do is you create some sort of an asset or a lead magnet. And I love actually creating video lead magnets, and we're going to be explaining how this works with cold outreach and paid ads as well. But essentially, you're going to turn these people from this color into people who are green, where they're actually going to go and give you their contact information. So we want their email address, we want their contact information, etc., etc. So the reason why we actually go and do this is because, the other 97%, it's a cheaper cost per lead, but they won't book a call yet. So what we need to do is sort of nurture them further down the funnel. So you don't even ask them to actually go and book a call right away. All we're trying to do is move someone from not thinking about this. So those other people they weren't even thinking about you. So they were the people who were sort of walking past the shop, not actually going to enter in the shop. But what we want to do is have a sign there and say, you should come into this shop. So we just want to make sure that they should think, I should probably do something about this. So how you actually get someone to think, I should probably do something about this is you do this by like solving a lead's problem. So there's different types of lead magnets, and I've gone through on other videos in a bit more detail in terms of what lead magnets are. So you've got other lead magnets like problem revealing lead magnets, free trials, which is an obvious one. The one that I really like is a one-step of a multi-step process. So all you're doing with a lead magnet is you're packaging up, you're the expert, right? So you're the expert with your business and your industry, and you're the expert with helping your ideal client. So think about who your ideal client is, and what you want to do is solve a very narrow problem for them, which then reveals another problem, and that other problem is your whole core service. So for example, like if you're an email marketing agency, what you might want to do is an email marketing agency, their ideal client needs help with like email deliverability, their good copywriting, creating a good offer, there's inbox management, like responding to emails, etc. There's too many things for you to go and cover in one lead magnet to actually go and capture someone's information. You don't want to overwhelm people. The only thing that email marketing agency may need to do to go and create a good lead magnet is solve one key problem, which could be like email deliverability, or it could be copywriting, how to create good copywriting that actually sells. And then once you've solved that key problem for them, then it opens up another can of worms, and the other can of worms is your full service, like how to actually do everything, how to actually write the copy, do the offer, do the deliverability, like create the lead list, etc., etc. So that is what you would need to do. So think about now, like, what can I create as someone who is the expert to go and capture someone's information? And the real sort of way to think about this is, can you package something up in a video training or whatever it may be, and would someone pay $50 to $100 for it? And that is a good sort of starting point when you're looking to create a lead magnet. And what I really like to deliver in terms of the lead magnet is a video training. So this could be anything. There's 101 ways to go and create and deliver lead magnets, but what I really like to do is record some sort of free training, a masterclass, webinars. Some of my clients run webinars, and that absolutely crushes for lead generation. It just depends on like what your ideal target market is, what you're comfortable with actually doing. You don't have to overthink this. And the video training could be anywhere from like sort of 30 to 40 minutes or 20 minutes. It's totally up to you. So one of the key problems and key reasons as to why you would create a lead magnet is to collect people's information. But how do we actually go and promote the lead magnet? So you can't just create the lead magnet and sit there twiddling your thumbs thinking people are going to opt in for it. So there's obviously a couple of different ways you can use free content. So post free content, like you'll see my lead magnets in the link in the description, where I collect people's information, and in return I'll give you a free training. And then you've got things like doing cold outreach, so you can use like LinkedIn outreach, email outreach. You could reach out to people on social media, and then you've got things like running paid ads. But I'm going to walk through. Paid ads is an obvious one. A lot of people run lead magnets through paid ads, but I'm going to be explaining. It's quite tricky to do lead magnets with cold outreach, but I'm going to walk through how it would actually work. So the actual flow, well, before I actually get into the flow of actually creating a lead magnet for cold outreach, the number one rule as a lead magnet when you're doing a cold lead magnet, so you're reaching out to a stranger and they have no idea who you are, and you're trying to turn them into a qualified lead, you just need to make sure that when you're promoting this lead magnet, they need to be able to decide if you're even worth talking to. Nothing else matters. So the flow of this would be, for example, you would have your outreach where you would have your cold email. So it just goes here, cold email, and then you may do cold DMs as well. And all we're going to do here at this point, so we use cold email and cold DMs to just capture their attention. So we would be saying something like, are you interested in X, Y, and Z? Or we've got this opportunity for you. Do you want to see it? So this is like the step one. So you've done your step one here, and then they're going to qualify themselves in or out. And once they say, yes, I am interested in this opportunity, or yes, tell me more, that is when you go and deliver the lead magnet. And there's different ways to do this. You can send someone a free training. You can send someone a Loom video. You can send someone to like a webinar sign up and say, look, with this webinar, we're going to be solving this problem. Whatever it may be, the lead magnet is something that turns someone from someone who is cold, who is not in that sort of 3%, into someone who can actually be pushed further down the funnel and get qualified. So now in the lead magnet here, most people forget to do this, but you need to have a call to action into your core service or your introductory offer, whatever it may be. So you deliver the lead magnet, but you also say, look, if you want us to help you go and do X, Y, and Z and do it for yourself or whatever it may be, whatever your sort of sales process is, you need to have some sort of call to action. And then if they are qualified and they are interested, that is when they will qualify themselves in or out. So if they are qualified, then they will make that call to action where you may drive people over to a booking page, and then you would go and have the sales call. So most people, when they do cold outreach, they just try to go straight from here over to the booking a call section here, and then straight into the sales call. But like I said, that works, but it only works for 3% of the market. So if you send 1,000 emails, only 3 people are probably likely to actually go and respond and then go and book a sales call, let alone you've still got to sell them as well from a cold outreach. This works extremely well because you're warming people up at this sort of stage here, and then they opt in and they qualify themselves, and then they actually go and book a call. So let's just set the scene here in terms of like a different example of how this would work. So let's say person A. So person A has a business. Let's use that email marketing agency as an example. So person A, you're an email marketing agency and you're trying to reach out to like e-commerce brand owners. And you're basically sending an email, or you're basically recording a Loom video explaining all the intricate details about your methodology and like how amazing that you are. And like, you know, we go through these 11 steps to do X, Y, and Z. But the problem is no one cares about this. This is why you don't get any responses when you do cold outreach. But compared to if you were person B and you basically said, look, I've got an opportunity that I think that you're missing. You're not trying to explain every step. You're not trying to explain all your sort of methods and how you do things and how you operate as a business. All you're trying to do is show that opportunity, show the gap. So the step one here, just like I was saying, step one is the initial outreach. So we're just using this to capture attention, just like paid ads would be. So you're not delivering the lead magnet yet. You're using step one, so the initial outreach, just to point out that missed opportunity. So you might actually send this as a DM, an email. You might even send them a really short Loom, just some sort of insight, something like that. And then step two is where once they've said, yes, I'm interested, then you would say, do you want the full breakdown? Like, do you want the full breakdown of this, which may be like the 20-minute training, or it may be like a full 10-minute audit or a 5-minute audit, breaking down that opportunity, a longer video. It could be an evergreen training or a webinar that you might send to someone. For example, one of my clients, what we do is we run cold email campaigns, and we basically say, hey, we're running this webinar next month and it's about X, Y, and Z, which will solve their problem. If you are interested, do you want to sign up? I'll happily sign you up manually myself, or here's the link and you can go and sign up. So it's that we're getting them to actually say, raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm interested in that, to be fair. Get me signed up to that webinar, or show me the free training, or whatever it may be. And then the free training is the conversion mechanism as to, like, on the webinar, that's when you deliver the free value, you solve the problem for free for them. And then at the very end, you have the call to action. You say, look, if you want us to actually go and help you do this, or if you want to use this product, or if you want this service done for yourself, then, just book a call with us here, etc., etc. So we're not just going straight in for the kill with the sell here. I'll put across there. What we're actually doing in step two is, we're asking them, do you want this full breakdown, etc. So the whole goal of this, especially with cold outreach, is you don't want to waste people's time. And the best way to do this is you need to explain the straight line to cash. So over here, what does the straight line to cash mean? A straight line to cash means we're not explaining our methodology. We're saying, hey, we've noticed an opportunity, or we've noticed a problem that will either make you money or save you time. They don't want to care. People are busy about their own lives and their own sort of things that are going on with their business. We just want to make it abundantly clear. If they respond and opt in for this step two, which is the lead magnet, you're going to give them something because you've identified an opportunity or a problem that you can go and solve. It's directly correlated to saving time or making money. This is how you get people to respond. If you explain your methodology and things like that, this is why no one replies. So if you actually look at your like copy of your LinkedIn messages and your emails, or you're sending Loom videos and it's like a 20-minute Loom video about the breakdown of your service or your product, and you're not getting responses, I guarantee it's because you're not explaining the straight line to cash. That is the most simple way to think about how can I get someone to respond. And then in step two, you say, look, here it is. Here's the opportunity explained. Here's the missing gap. That's your lead magnet. So it's just step one, step two. And then obviously at the end of this, you would have call to action, which is book a call. Now, the paid ads lead magnet is a significantly cheaper way to actually go and generate leads. So instead of just getting people running ads straight to book a call, this works, by the way, like we do this works incredibly well. You can pinpoint your target audience, and it works on those 3% who are actually in the market. And sometimes it actually goes and generates people who aren't in those 3%. So the issue is you get a lot of tire kickers sometimes when they opt in for you to go and book a call with your sales team. So when you run the ads, blah, 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 these people are unqualified, but the majority of them should be qualified if you've got your form set up. But the reason why, just to touch on this, with the paid ads lead magnet, you get a lot cheaper cost per lead, or if you're running this from content, for example, but let's talk about paid ads, you basically just have an opt-in form here, which says, do you want this free training, which solves this narrow problem? And then they go and access the free training. And then you've got your conversion mechanisms, which are slightly different to the cold outreach approach. So you basically give them the training, and most people just stop here. Most people just say, yeah, give me your email, and then stop here, and then here's the training. Well, but what we want to do is actually go and direct people over to a thank you page, and then we send people emails and drip feed them value over time. So you've got your thank you page, which has your video sales letter on there, which is, if you don't know what a video sales letter is, it's just it could be a 5, 10, 15, 20 minute video just basically explaining your product or service and getting people to go and book a call. So they've accessed the training, you take them to a thank you page, and then they see the VSL, and then they can book a call. That's one conversion mechanism. The second one is they've already opted in and given you their email. So then at this point, they've got the training, and then all you do is add them to the email workflows where you send them a series of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many emails that you want, providing value, soft call to action straight into actually going booking a call. Now that's the second conversion mechanism. Now the third one is optional, but you could add people to your email newsletter, which is again going to further nurture people over time. Maybe it's months, maybe it's weeks, and then nurture them to actually go and book a call. So you can see with paid ads as well, like it's a lot more scalable. You can capture demand very early. So those people who aren't actually going ready to go and buy your product or service, you warm people up, you can retarget those people, then you can qualify these people over time instead of running ads straight to book a call, which is like high costs, it's lower volume, and it's more capped. So if you are wanting to run a lead generation system just like this, whether it's cold outreach, whether it's paid ads, you can click the link in the description and you'll be able to understand how I might be able to help you. You can book a call with me directly and I'll be able to explain if we might be the right fit in terms of helping you with your lead generation. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.